Well, we came around to how that all of this is coming about. Whenever he said that within 2 years you'll be so broke you won't be able to rebel against America, against the elite, excuse me. America will not be able to rebel against the elite, and down to the fact that they have 2 years and the dollar basically will be a thing of the past, and inflation. Well, we went through all of these 2 years things, and naturally being a pastor, I went back at that point and said to him, I said, and I called him by name, I said, do you remember at Prudhoe Bay when Speedy Jones came to know Christ as the Savior, and how it literally turned Prudhoe Bay upside down? I thought I'd get him on this subject, and I really wasn't asking him for things in the religious world, but he said, Chaplain, I do remember that. He said, you were having 450 men out to the worship service at Pump Station 1, and he said, yeah, Speedy Jones with Houston Constructors really did turn the North Slope of Alaska upside down. And he said, then he got on the subject of religion. I wasn't expecting him to do it, and he used the expression, the devil's Messiah, and I asked him to kind of elaborate a little bit about what he was talking about, and he went into the details as to what they've done to the churches and the pastors of America, and how they have gotten them to fall in line over a period of time from all the way back at 65 and 66, 1965 and 1966.
All right, stay there, Lindsey. We're going to come right back in with the devil's Messiah. Stay with us.
A rocking chair.
Makes me very angry to see humanity who's good and decent, and the average person is loving and has hopes and dreams, manipulated by the scientific dictatorship. Pastor Lindsey Williams is our guest. Lindsey, this is a short segment, long segment coming up, but I want. So you said you were just mentioning, hey, remember us on the North Slope? Remember when one of the heads of the big work groups became a Christian and everybody else was getting saved? He then launches in to the devil's Messiah. Tell us what that means.
What Alex Jones says in his new DVD, and I haven't seen it yet. Alex, I'm sure looking forward to it. I guarantee you that what this man told me is going to back up every single thing that Alex Jones says in his new DVD. He went into the subject, as Alex just suggested. He wants to keep me on the subject of the devil's Messiah. Have you been asked by your church and your pastor lately to fill out a form in which it asks very personal questions, and they say that they'd like it for the purpose of being able to know more about the people in the church?
Yes, it's happening everywhere.
You better be careful, folks. Did you realize that this is that Homeland Security has? Oh my goodness! I wish I had time to go into Homeland Security, but I can't.
No, you do. Go over it. Go. Just tell us.
That Homeland Security has actually requested of the pastors to get this information and to make it available to them at any such time that they might want it. And they ask personal questions: your salary, the number of people in your house, the number of computers you have, on and on and on. I attended a church. We just came back, as I mentioned to you. 3 months I disappeared, literally disappeared. Haven't done a single radio talk show up until today. Alex, I guess that's the reason I'm so excited, because I have a privilege of giving out what this man just told me, your show being the very first one. And I was in a church in the course of our travels, and this church asked the people to fill out this brochure, and I looked at it and almost gagged. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's exactly what Homeland Security has requested of the pastors to be able to.
Hey, it's worse than that, Lindsey. We're the ones that broke 3 years ago on Genesis. Pastor Butch Poff did first. The clergy response team's secret documents. Tell your flocks Roman 13. Tell them give their guns up. Tell them take forced inoculations. Tell them world government's good. Tell them to worship whoever the president is. Then it came out mainstream news that our documents were real. People couldn't believe it. Just Google clergy response teams. You can watch newscasts, everything, saying, yeah, we're getting you ready to go to the camps. They actually say the camps and how it's of the Lord to go to the camps. Very, very, like communist China or Russia using the churches. And then one of my friends brought me from Dripping Springs Big Baptist Church. They got ordered, you don't talk about politics with anybody at the church, even when you're eating dinner with them. You shut up and do what the government says. These are prison grids. You talk about devilish. Go ahead.
Please, folks, I beg of you, if you even attend any kind of church at all, I don't care what it is, please give my DVD to the pastors of your church. I beg of you. Now, we have put this in a beautiful folder. This is not like I used to do. Dorky, I know in the past we've had very dorky DVDs. Then not this time. I said the whole country this has got to be so attractive that everybody will want it. We put all 6 of them into one beautiful folder with a multi-color cover on the back and the front. You've never seen anything so nice. Anybody would want it. Give it to your pastor. I beg of you. He will actually look at this one and want it.
Okay, we're going to fire the number out, but here's my question. I know insiders leak info. Is he telling you this because he thinks there's nothing anybody can do, or is it because of his conscience, believing he's going to die soon?
A little bit of both. I think he did it mainly because of his conscience, and I think he did it as he said. He said, you Americans, he said, you have fallen for every line, for every carrot we've put in front of you. You've swallowed hook, line, and sinker everything we have said, and they are laughing.
And he's telling you this because you were his pastor with the oil company, and he knows if you say you won't speak with the pastor, parishioner, like the attorney-client privilege, that he knows he can put this out, you'll reach millions of people, because you've already had the best-selling book 20 years ago about the oil in Alaska. I mean, is that why he gave you this information?
Understand, of course, that they do not have chaplains on pipelines. They've never known them any place in the world. The only time this has happened, to my knowledge, is on the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline. I probably am one of the only people of his kind that has ever personally, man to man, eyeball to eyeball, face to face, day after day, been in the presence of this man, and it gained a sense of confidence that probably... I
understand. You're like his counselor. Stay there, Lindsey. I want to come back and get into the Homeland Security, get into more of this religious stuff, because I want to hear his view on that when you brought it up, and then more.